Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth Podcast. I'm Jack Smith.
I'm Shrikari Jendran.
I'm Anish Gupta.
In this video, we'll be bringing you guys our NFL Week 15 game picks, going through every game on the entire NFL schedule for the week. It's a weekly series we've been doing since the beginning of the year, and we'll get right into it. Last week, I won, took a game up on Anish. He's still 7 ahead of me. I think we can kind of crown him the champ so far.
Not yet. Whoa.
But we still got it.
One thing I've learned in football is to never say that. Never say that. So knock on wood, I can.
Especially with Jack, he be jinxing stuff, bro.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's the plan.
No, don't say that.
That's the plan. Well, even if he's 7 games ahead of me, only got a couple weeks left, we're still going to come to you guys and bring you what we think is going to happen in the Week 15 NFL games because, we're not here to compete with each other. We're here to give you guys our picks and predictions
also,
and analysis for all the games of the week.
In the description.
Timestamps will be in the description for each matchup. You can go find your favorite team's matchup or some of the biggest of the week. While you're here, please leave a like. It really helps us out. It takes 10 seconds of your time, and it helps our videos reach more people, and it can help us grow. As well as if you're down there, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment saying which game do you think is going to be the best game this week, as well as give us a prediction for who wins. But getting into it, on Thursday night, we have the Los Angeles Chargers who, I think all three of us swore off last week. And we took the Falcons, and I haven't taken the Falcons in forever. And somehow the Chargers win that game and the Falcons find a way to lose again. But like the Falcons, when I swore off the Falcons, they won. I stuck to it. I'm going to do the same thing for the Chargers. I'm going to pick the Raiders to beat the Chargers. And I don't know how they won last week, but I don't think the Chargers win back-to-back.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Vegas as well. I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna make a prediction for Derek Carr because I said this. I texted Jack and Anish. I said I'm really feeling like Derek Carr is gonna have one of his best games on Thursday. I think he throws for at least 350 yards.
Okay.
There we go, and 4 touchdowns. I think it's gonna be one of the best games of his career.
And this can end up really good or really bad.
Exactly, but I mean, I want to kind of spice it up a little bit. I think John Gruden, he's going to put together the perfect game plan, just set him up for success. And this Chargers secondary, it's just the whole defense is just inconsistent. But I do think Justin Herbert, he's going to do his best to keep things close. But it's just the Chargers they're going to lose in Chargers fashion. So I'm going to take the Raiders here.
I think in the NFL, there's a hierarchy each year. And I just thought coming into the year that there were 28 teams that I thought could, take that next step or take a step back. Chargers and Raiders were both in that 28 teams, obviously. And I think the Raiders took a little bit of a step forward and the Chargers took a lot of a step back. But there's some things in the right direction with Herbert. But for the Raiders against the Colts, I don't want to talk about it too much. I just think they were outmatched. People had this team at 6-3. People thought this team could go far. I don't know. I don't think so. Their playoff chances are slim. They could still happen. But as of right now, I don't know. But there's a lot to look forward to with this team. I think Derek Carr deserves at least an extension or, at least consideration to continue being the franchise guy. I think, Jack and I had our questions on it. I'm going to take the Raiders over the Chargers here just because I think this is they always play well against their division. And again, it's at home. I think they don't get blown out at home like they did last week like that. And I think this defense plays a little bit better. And keep an eye out on Keenan Allen. I think he's also questionable. So that's a little bit of a concern for LA.
Yeah, and as the college football season's been wrapping up, we get games on Saturdays now, as it happens every year. And really, both of the Saturday games this week, I think we can kind of clump into one because they're pretty simple decisions and predictions. I think Buffalo beats Denver, and I think Green Bay beats Carolina. Denver played Carolina last week, and neither team looked, great. Drew Lock played well for the first time really this year, and Denver won. But I think Denver loses to Buffalo, and then I think Green Bay beats Carolina. For those are the 2 Saturday games, at least what I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna take both those teams that Jack said, but I don't think the Bills should be overlooking the Broncos here, because the Broncos, they've surprised us a few times this season, and I mean Drew Lock, he's shown potential at times, but I think if the Denver defense steps up, I think this could be a closer game than most of us would expect. But I think the Bills get the dub there. And for the Panthers and the Packers already have the NFC North title, and they're in first place in the NFC still, so they're moving closer to earning that top seed for good. So I got to take both of those teams there.
Yeah, so just for the Bills, Broncos, again, never count out the Mile High Air. I'm sorry, just never count it out. Josh Allen's been playing amazing. I still think he has a shot. He has an outside shot at that MVP. I still think there's a little bit of bias in that. but he's been playing terrific. Oh, I mean, I'm a Josh Allen fan, and I didn't expect this. I mean, this is amazing. So, kudos to him. And again, one of us on this podcast likes players, and another one of them hates players. I still believe in Drew Lock. I still do. I still think he can do something. Give him, a better O-line next year. They've had injuries on it. They've been ravaged on the defensive side too. And then obviously he gets Cortland Sutton back next year. I want to see it. I don't think there's enough to tell with him. So I'm still a little bit of a believer. I'm going to keep faith, but I think the Bills win this game. And regarding the Panthers and the Packers really let me down last week. I really thought they were going to do something. I mean, yeah, Christian McCaffrey's not there. I don't know. They might just not play him the rest of the year. I really don't know. I mean, what are they, 4-9? Is there really a point? I don't know. With the Packers, this is good. I mean, they've looked tremendous. Now, I wanted to say one thing too before I'm going to take the Packers. I think that they're 2 games away from clinching the first seed, so they need this game. I just want to say one thing too. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is the best quarterback in football. I've said this for a while now, and I've said he's the best. It's not close, but I will say this: I think to the Packers organization, I think Aaron Rodgers is more valuable. So I think there's a little bit of a difference there, and I think Aaron Rodgers is probably the most valuable player to an organization I think I've ever seen. Like, I mean, this, or maybe Brady with the Pats, but I mean, with Aaron Rodgers, without him, who's going to go to Wisconsin to play? Like, he attracts people, and he's honestly built up this Packers brand. So I just wanted to give him a little shout out there, and I'm going to take the Packers.
I think that's funny because over this offseason, I kind of had the idea of, which player is the most valuable player. I think there's a difference between best and most valuable. And I remember Anish saying, dude, it's Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like, there's
I said Russell Wilson.
I still think he's the best player. I just think to an organization, to this Packers organization, I think Aaron Rodgers he represents them in every way.
Now, you think he's the most valuable to the organization. Is he the leading MVP candidate after last week? Did he make up any ground on Mahomes?
I think he made up some ground. It's going to be really tough. I don't know. I'm trying to.
How many times?
Boy.
It's not going to happen. But how many times has there been a co-MVP? Like 2 players split the award?
I believe it's once, and I think it was McNair. I think.
I'm not implying that it's going to happen, but
I think McNair is the last one. I can't put it on my on the top of my head. I think it was McNair and someone else, but I can't remember.
I think it just sucks because both these seasons these quarterbacks are having are pretty amazing. I feel like I think I might go as far as to say that they would both have won last year. Like, you put Aaron Rodgers' season.
2019 was Lamar. No.
That was Lamar's year.
No, Lamar was historic. I mean,
I know.
1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. He didn't fumble. He didn't turn the ball over. 14-2. I don't think so.
I would argue that they both would deserve it. I don't think it would happen because of, the Ravens were 14-2 and the most polarizing team in the league. But I feel like they would both deserve it over Lamar last year. But
tough to say.
We do have sweeps for, probably a good amount of the games this week. It's kind of, one of the easier slates of games, and that doesn't change in the first game on Sunday. I mean, I think Tampa Bay beats Atlanta. I'm still sworn off Atlanta. Last week was an exception because they were playing the Chargers. But look, they just, I don't know what it is this year with Atlanta. They just can't seem to win games, especially games they should win. And I think Tampa Bay, they need to win games at the end of the year. Brady knows that. He'll get it done. And I don't think this Falcons team, I don't think they'll upset Tampa Bay in this one.
I think with Tampa Bay, even when they win, like, they just don't impress me. And at this point, it's kind of like the Bucs are exactly what I thought they'd be. They'd just be, a huge collection of talent, a dream team, if you will, that just hasn't been glued together. They haven't become like a cohesive unit. And that being said, I'm not going to take the Falcons here. I'm going to take the Bucs. I just think the Falcons are just done. I swore them off a while ago, and I just got to take the Bucs here. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons did upset. I think they'll keep it close, but I'm going to go with Brady.
Falcons have played close in pretty much every game. So if there are any bettors out there, I might take the Falcons against the spread. I don't know what it is exactly, but yeah, Falcons at home. I don't think they're, an easy out. But I think with Tampa Bay, like you said, Shrikar, it's just, they haven't really impressed me. You're right. Collection of guys, and at 8-5, I'm pretty positive they're going to win out. They play the Falcons twice and the Lions. I'm pretty positive if they lose one, then all 3 of us get them right. I think we all had them 10-6 coming into the year, which is good. I think they've locked up a wild card spot. I don't see them getting out. So good for them. I just, do I trust them on the road and the playoffs? I mean, hey, it's Tom Brady. You don't want to bet against him, but I got the Bucs here. I just haven't seen anything yet, though. Like, I mean, aside from that Packers win, not much.
Yeah, I think we'll kind of figure out exactly what that team is in the playoffs if they get there. And we move on to, one of the few, I think, entertaining games this week, especially ones to pick. We've got San Francisco and Dallas, and look, this is a tale of two teams that just haven't lived up to what people thought they would be this year, and for different reasons, but also similar reasons. I mean, injuries have been tough for both teams, as well as they just haven't played well. But I think San Francisco is going to win this one. I know I said that San Francisco would go kind of on a run to end the year. They, they hit a buzzsaw with the Bills. I thought they'd take that one out, and I think maybe it took a little wind out of their sails. And I was really happy though to see Washington beat them last week. But I don't think this is a game they drop. I think this is one of the games they win. I think they beat Dallas because Dallas has no reason to win games. Like if I'm Dallas, if I'm a Dallas fan, I want them to keep losing because there's no point in winning games right now. They're not gonna go to the playoffs. They're not gonna win the division. Just stay in the top 5 in the draft, and you're fine. And I think that San Francisco, they're still a good team. They still have the resemblance of a good team, and I think they win this one.
I think just looking back at last week, Nick Mullins was trash. He was garbage. Albeit it was a good defense in Washington, but oh my Lord. That dude just turned the ball over every single possession. But I mean, the good news is unless your quarterback is Brandon Allen, the Cowboys won't lock you up. So I think this is the perfect game for the Niners. They're just going to get right here. And maybe they can pull off this win, but I don't really see them beating who they play, the Cardinals and the Seahawks in week 16 and 17. I don't see them winning either of those. So I think this will be their last win of the season.
Wow. So they're 5-8. So you expect, they're 5-8, right? So you expect 6-10.
6-10. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's tough. I'm gonna take the Niners, and I don't think my boy Deebo is gonna come back for the rest of the year. I think he's out.
Yeah, he's out.
It's not looking good. So, there's still promise coming into next year. I think who knows? Maybe they do a similar thing that they did, in 2019, right? Maybe get a good draft pick, get someone good, get healthy. Who knows? I still believe in Kyle Shanahan. I think he's still a really good coach. But yeah, Dallas they give themselves false hope. I mean, you beat Brandon Allen. Good for you. I mean, what, is that supposed to be impressive?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, but I don't like to hate on teams, but come on. So hopefully I didn't jinx anything there. I'm going to take the Niners and 6-8 and Dallas. Again, I think a good draft pick could help them. Maybe they've got some interesting things to do with the offseason. So let's see.
Yeah, fresh off a win, Tennessee hosts Detroit, and I think Tennessee is going to win this game. Look, it's just Detroit has looked better. I think you can say they've definitely looked better since Matt Patricia's been gone, but this isn't a game they're going to win. It's the Tennessee Titans still fighting, I believe, to hold their lead in the division. Yeah. And look, I don't think they're going to give it up in this game specifically. Detroit's just not as good as Tennessee, and they don't have as much to play for, so I don't think they win.
And right now, the Lions have one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. And as it so happens, the Titans have one of the best run offenses in the NFL. I don't know about y'all, but really, Derrick Henry's just going to eat this game. And he's probably going to be the back-to-back rushing champ. I don't want to say anything yet, but he's leading the league in rushing yards right now. I think
he's leading by 200, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Which is funny, though, because I thought someone told us before the season stat leaders don't repeat.
Yeah, I did. And I was confident. And there's a guy, I'll save it. But there's a guy who could have won it if he wasn't hurt. But,
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. But I think
I was
the
guy I
Lions...
picked. It was the guy I picked. And he was close. Man.
But I think the Lions they'll get points against this Titans defense, but they're just not going to be able to slow down Derrick Henry. And really, you got to slow Derrick Henry down to win games against the Titans. So I got to take Tennessee here.
So I'm taking Tennessee too. Been high on them. Tannehill's been great. This whole team has been great. I think I just want to say one thing though. I think they're a little bit too off and on. But the thing is, when they're on, they are could be the biggest threat to the Chiefs. Because when they are on, they drop 45 on you. Yeah. And when they're off, they get outscored 38-7 in the first half. It's a little bit of inconsistency. I think that's their only flaw. But again, I think they'll show out against the Lions. And by the way, that running back I mentioned was Nick Chubb, a guy who Jack doesn't think is a Pro Bowler, which I think is a little delusional. That
wasn't a Pro Bowler in Week 12.
I wanted to use the Browns. No, I wanted to use the Browns segment to talk about someone else. So I just want to throw that out there. I think Nick Chubb would have led the league if he had played all those games that he missed. But yeah, I think Tennessee rolls through this team. It's going to be close because I think Tennessee holds the advantage because of record in conference games. So, Colts got one against Pittsburgh coming up. So I think Tennessee's got to keep going. And I think with the Detroit win, they, put one step closer, I guess.
Yeah, speaking about the Colts, they host the Houston Texans. It seems like we just had this game because I believe we had it 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And it ended in heartbreaking fashion for the Texans. And I think after that game, the Texans had a little bit of mojo going. Deshaun Watson was playing super well. They had a little bit of mojo going. I feel like that game kind of just demoralized them. And now they got to come back and play the Colts again, this time in Indianapolis. And like we mentioned, Indianapolis is fighting for the division. And I think that, one team's fighting for something, the other team's a little bit demoralized. So I just think that Indianapolis wins this one because they got to keep winning games. Like this gets to the point of the year where teams just got to churn out wins and they got to turn it on. And I think
you got to win the games you're supposed to win. Basically.
Yeah. And this is a game Indianapolis is supposed to win. And I think they do.
Yeah, the Colts are they're rolling right now. I think 4 out of their last 5 have been wins. And as Jack said, they're doing everything they can to keep pace with the Titans for that AFC South crown. And the defense has done much of the work, but Rivers, Taylor, Pittman, the rest of that Indy offense, they've done their part as well. And I think as long as that same Colts team shows up that we saw last week, I don't think the Texans are going to upset. I will give credit to Deshaun Watson. He's been playing well for Houston, but he doesn't have.
Glad
the
to see that.
They're glad he doesn't have the same playmakers though, and it's just the Houston defense is a mess. We saw that last weekend against the Bears, and at this point, it's just the Texans. They're just waiting for this season to be over. They are clearly out of the postseason picture. That pick is going to Miami now. I mean, I'm lighting a candle for Deshaun Watson, man. I feel for him, man.
One guy you forgot to mention, Shrikar, T.Y. Hilton, who has honestly resurrected his career. I don't know what
his year.
Like,
his year.
Resurrected his year, I guess. I've always loved T.Y. Hilton, especially with Andrew Luck. He was one of my favorites, especially when he led the league in receiving yards. Did you guys know that? He actually did a year, so that was pretty cool. I'm a harsh QB evaluator, I'd say. As much as, I don't hate any players, but I'm pretty harsh on them. When I see Deshaun Watson out there, I feel so bad. Like I feel for him. Like, and that hit he took, I think it was to the groin against the Bears in the red zone. I was just like, what the hell? I mean, this is a star. This is a star in this league, and
he's a superstar. Like
I'm cool with you saying that. Absolutely. I'm absolutely cool with you having him in your top 5, top 4. I'm absolutely fine with that. And to see what he's going through is just so hard. I mean, he's losing receivers left and right. Doesn't have a good front office. It's a trickle down effect. You see it with these franchises, and with the Texans, it's maybe can they get back on track? I mean, they've been around for 18 years now, and just haven't been really doing anything. But I still believe in him. I still think this is the guy that can take him to new heights. They just have to build around him. But that being said, I'm going to take the Colts here. Again, they've looked really good. Rivers isn't playing like a top 10 quarterback, though, honestly, as of late. He's been playing really good. T.Y. Hilton, glad to see him do well.
Yeah, we've had all sweeps up to this point, and I think this is where we're going to have the first game we differ on. I'm going to take the New England Patriots to beat the Miami Dolphins this week because – and here's why. I think that – Miami's had some trouble with their skill positions recently, getting injured, and I believe that this is going to be a low-scoring game. And low-scoring game between these two teams, I feel like New England's going to be the team that wins that. I think they're going to come out and they're going to pound the rock. I think they're going to run the ball well, which is something that teams have been able to do on Miami this year. And I think that New England's going to come out. I think they're going to defend well against also, it's a young quarterback, which is we've mentioned before. That's something the Patriots do well against. So you got a young quarterback, a team that's hurting at the skill positions. And if it's going to be a low-scoring game, I think the Patriots pull it out.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the Dolphins, and really it's just because of their defense. And the Patriots don't have firepower on offense. I just don't see them outscoring Miami. And despite that Chiefs game, I think the Dolphins' defense has been exceptional this season. Xavier Howard, man. I think picks in 5 straight games.
Yeah.
And this defensive front, they've done a great job. So I'd expect more of the same against Cam Newton in this offense. Dude, the last time the Pats didn't win the division, I think it was 2008. And when that happened, it was the Dolphins who won that division, ironically. So I think it's not – Dolphins aren't going to win the division. But I think New England's streak it's done. It's done.
This one is tough. Jack made some really good points because I know Parker's questionable. Man, this one's because 10 days of rest, don't forget, the Patriots get. But the problem is can they score enough on offense?
That's my point. I don't think they will.
Right? I don't think they can.
Well, how many points do you think Miami scores?
Well,
Probably.
Here's the thing, though. Tua against the Chiefs was throwing some really nice passes, and it
Yeah,
wasn't that he lost. He lost his players in that game, right? Parker and I don't think they had Preston Williams that game either. I don't think so.
Jakeem Grant was pretty bad, but
yeah. So it's
but
tough.
It's the Patriots.
I agree. Yeah, no. So I know Belichick and rookies. It's hard to bet against. But I do see
high on
points.
Miami.
I know, but hey, no, I think, I've looked at their schedule. There's 4 teams fighting for those 3 spots, and I think Miami might be the lone one out. But can they beat the Patriots? It's tough. It's at home. Pats have to travel back from LA to here. Give me the Dolphins. I'm going to regret it because, I like both. I like players from both sides, but I hope Miami wins this because I think it's good morale for Brian Flores after, dropping that first game. And they got clearly outplayed back in week 1. And I think this is a different Dolphins team. And you're right. They've been ravaged by injuries. Gaskin isn't there still. And I think people need to realize that dude can play. Myles Gaskin, their running back. So I'm going to take the Dolphins here. You're right, Jack, though. This is a game that people are sleeping on, though. It's not as close as, or not as lopsided as people should think.
And it's Belichick against his coaching tree, basically. And he wins those games. He tends to be smart in those games.
You're banking on the trend. I totally see that. Like that's
speaking of trends, I think there's a possibility that the Chicago Bears Shrikar trend might be back after he picked the Texans last week.
One game.
I know. I'm just saying we're going to test it out.
That game gave me an edge on you, though, bro.
We're going to test it out and see it. Shrikar, make your pick for Bears and Vikings, and we'll see where we go.
All right. There's 2 main factors in my mind, and the first is which Trubisky comes to play. He was great last week. He was exceptional, but he's all over the map. I think if the Vikings can just get pressure on him early, force him into mistakes, his confidence is going to shatter. And then second of all, missing 3 field goals, that's just not an option. When you get opportunities, Minnesota, you got to capitalize. So
missed 4 total kicks.
Like, are you kidding me?
Dev, I'm sorry, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Vikings. I think Kirk Cousins is gonna step up. I think Dalvin Cook has a much better game than the last time these 2 teams met. But I think it's gonna be super close. I think it's gonna take a final stop for Minnesota's defense, something like that. And if you win this, you're keeping your slim chances of a playoff berth alive here. So I'm gonna take Minnesota.
I think that makes my decision. It kind of solidifies a little bit. I was leaning Bears, honestly. Bears. So once Shrikar took Vikings, I'm gonna bank on the idea that the trend might come back. But I was gonna pick the Bears anyway. I think Minnesota wins when they run the ball well, and I don't think that they'll be able to do as well running the ball against some teams as they will against Chicago. I don't think they're going to run super well in Chicago, and I think that when it comes down to it, Trubisky will have a better game this time playing Minnesota than the last time. And so it's really up in the air. I think it's close, but I'm just kind of banking on the fact that they'll shut down the run. And I think the Chicago defense will play a little bit better. Plus it seems like when Chicago's in this situation, this seems like a game they would just win because like I mentioned with Dallas, they've got no reason to win. Chicago should want to lose every single game for the rest of the year, but this seems like a game they would win. And with the way that the Trubisky trend is going right now, where people are saying, oh, wait, maybe he is the future of the Bears, I just feel like this is a game they win and adds to that and adds to the unnecessary drama because he's not the future. He's not the future of the Bears, but this seems like a game they would win. And I think that they'll be able to slow down Minnesota's running game.
You know what? I'll ride the trend with you. I so with the Vikings, here's 2 things I think. One, Dan Bailey missing those kicks, that was huge because if the Vikings won that game,
well, you got to realize that's 10 points. That's 10 points. They don't win the game if he makes all 4 of those kicks.
Huh? No, they would have been up though. Like there were so many situations with it. And also the PI on the Hail Mary, I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Never see those.
What? Are you kidding me? I'm like, as a Vikings fan, I would have been pissed. I mean, like, that's not a call you make. I'm sorry. Like, well, I mean, Shannon Sharp did defend it. Like he said, it was a constant hold throughout the play. So, okay, maybe, but still, I wouldn't call it. I don't know. I wouldn't call it in that type of game. And I think that it was also a little bit questionable on the one with Evans and Jeff Gladden. There were a lot of swings there that just, didn't go in the Vikings' favor. And I thought Tom Brady missed a couple balls that should have been picked, and they just didn't take advantage of them. And I think Eric Kendricks was also out too. But, I thought that was a little bit demoralizing. I mean, now what? They're 6-7. They're out. They're 8th seed right now. So if the Bears, I saw, from our guy Chris, he kept the scenario on how the Bears can make the playoffs. They win out, the Packers clinch, and they rest against them. I don't know if that's going to happen, but, Trubisky, he's looked – I told you guys this. Remember, the offense looks better with him. I told you they've had every game with him. They've had 300-plus yards, and then without him, 300-plus yards – or no 300-plus yards games. Also, Jack, he didn't play against the Vikings. It was Nick Foles, and they were awful.
He didn't come in against the Vikings?
No.
It was what's his name? Tyler Bray, because Trubisky was hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what Trubisky's first game was back. For some reason in my mind, it was the Vikings.
I can't recall, but it wasn't that one.
Okay.
It was not. Foles played that entire game. That was the worst offensive performance in primetime I think I've ever seen. And I'm not even joking. Like, that was horrendous. If it wasn't for the Cordell Patterson thing. Okay, enough rambling. I think I'm going to take the Bears here too. And, screw it. Streetcars, Bears trend. I'll take them here. I think Trubisky has shown a little bit of promise, and hoping they can carry it over. David Montgomery also has been very good.
I'll keep the upset pick streak going with this game. The streak will end after this next game, but I think that Washington's going to beat Seattle this week.
I knew you would take that.
Look, they've got something to play for, and I know Seattle does too, but the NFC East has been surprisingly good over the last couple of weeks. I believe it might have been over the period of the last 3 weeks. They have the best record of any division.
9-6, yeah.
And Washington looked good last week, and Seattle struggled against the Giants, mostly because the Giants' defense played well, and Washington has a great defense. Seattle, they didn't struggle last week against the Jets, but it's the Jets. I think that Seattle, the teams they've struggled against recently when they were having their down performances, were against great defenses, and Washington is a great defense, and I think that, they could become an elite defense. You could see that label on them soon. And right now they're in the lead for their division, something Seattle, I don't believe, is. So Washington has got something to play for, which has been a theme throughout this episode. And they've got a great defense. I think they slow down Seattle, and I think they end up winning this game. And I think it's still going to be Dwayne Haskins, which is, I really never saw a point to benching him. I think you don't have a future.
You're not the Ohio State fan. This is like this.
No, I know, but
yeah, it's crazy.
And so I think Washington wins this one. What do you guys think?
So I was going to take Seattle here because, this Seahawks defense, they finally, righted the ship a little bit. It's just Dwayne Haskins is going to be rolled out there, and it's just it doesn't really seem like a recipe for success for Washington, because in recent weeks, this Seattle defense, they've shown resilience. They can get after the quarterback. They're just more stingy. So really, it's just going to come down to which Russell Wilson will we get. Will we get MVP Russell Wilson, or will we get turnover-prone Russell Wilson? And I think that Jets win, it's really going to boost his confidence. So I'm going to bank on the former, and I'm going to take the Seahawks, and I think we're going to get a good Russell Wilson here.
Yeah, this one was tough. This one is tough. Like, Washington's got that pass rush, right? And I don't know. I think they can get to Russell Wilson. Remember, that's how the Giants essentially beat him. They had to make Russell Wilson try and take more time in the pocket, and that kind of is what beat him. And, it's at Washington. I don't know the weather for this game, but, this might make Jack a little bit mad. I like Chase Young.
He's gonna pick Washington just so he can have a game that we're not differing on for the week. Which I just want to point out, I'm bringing you guys real takes and each just following.
I believe in Washington.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? I got to stop making takes on the NFC East because they have just not been good to me. Like Carson Wentz, now the Giants, now Washington. I'm not going to say anything, even though I do believe that this team could or, may or may not win a playoff game. But I'm not going to say anything because I'm done making takes on the NFC East. I'm absolutely fed up with it. I'm never doing it again. That being said, I'm going to take Washington in an upset. I believe in Chase Young. I think he's been amazing. Like this dude is incredible, and I think it shows that they're doing this. Jack was right. They're doing a formula similar to the Niners, and I think their contender window could open up next year. And I don't know who's that quarterback, but they don't really need to do much. They just need to make the plays to keep the game, keep the game tight. And I think it's going to be low scoring. And you're right. I think Jack made some great points that honestly helped me I was 50-50 on it. But I agree there's a little bit of conservative in there, but you're right. I think Washington with their pass rush can easily disrupt Russell Wilson, who has not looked good when playing against, top tier defense.
Oh, that kind of sucks. I mean, I saw 3 upsets kind of going into this week, and I know we're trying to give you guys our full picks, but I really was hoping that me and Anish would differ on those games. But it's whatever.
Hey, we different on Dolphins, man.
We did, but that's one game. I ain't gonna make up 7 games in 3 weeks. I know, can't expect that, but some games we won't differ on right now. Baltimore is going to beat Jacksonville. I think that the game that we saw from Baltimore last week is what I expected. That I think they're going to have some momentum because I don't think they're the hunted anymore, and I think they're healthy, and it might be dangerous. And then also I think that Los Angeles is going to beat the Jets. Weekly segment, I think the Jets lose, and I hope they do. But those are 2 games. I mean, I don't think I considered the other team for a second. I don't know if you guys think the same.
Yeah, so for Baltimore, Jacksonville, Baltimore is going to be dangerous heading into the playoffs. I mean, you're going to finish 11-5 probably.
Probably. Are you? I mean, dude.
Only potential loss I could see is Giants, but they're at home. And
come on, man. I mean,
you got the Bengals in Week 17, so you can't fumble the bag. You can't fumble the bag, Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson has another good game here. Move one step
Lucky
closer.
Team.
But moving on, Jets and Rams. I gotta take the Rams. It's like it's a terrible offense against a dominant defense. Like, what do you expect? I gotta take the Rams.
Like, you know what? I hate Baltimore. I hate Lamar Jackson. I hate the Ravens. I hate them. I hate them so much. But they're going to kill Jacksonville. They are literally going to. It's literally. I mean, like they've got to call the Coast Guard or something. Like what Shannon Sharp's infamous call. They're going to have to do that. I mean, they're going to kill Jacksonville. And I'm hoping I'm jinxing it. I'm hoping I am, but I'm not because there is absolutely no way in hell. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a higher chance of getting struck by lightning or something. But there's a higher chance of like the entire country losing, Wi-Fi than the Ravens losing this game. And you know what? If I speak it into existence, I will be very happy. But they are not losing. There's absolutely no way. I mean, I'm telling you, like every phone could shut off. Okay, COVID could end before the Ravens lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. So yeah, Ravens.
How do you think the Coast Guard's getting to the middle of Baltimore?
Yeah, I don't know, but you know what? They're going to have to do something because this is going to be downright murder. I mean, like this is not going to be close. And
Jack, clip this whole thing, bro.
Please clip this because I will be so happy if the Ravens lose. You have no idea, but they are not going to. I mean, it's the biggest guarantee of the year. Ravens at home, and then with the Rams, they're not losing. To the Jets. I am very. I think I'm trying to be as high on the Rams as I can. I'm trying to buy all their stock because I think this is the third best team in the NFC, and I think they can be dangerous. I really do.
I think honestly, they might be the biggest. Like, if you think of all the threats that could come out of the NFC to face maybe the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I feel like the Rams might be the biggest threat.
I think they might be the best team built to beat the Chiefs from the NFC.
Me too.
I think so. And they look good. I mean, the wide receivers are both really good after the catch. I mean, Sean McVay is got this team looking as good as ever, and this defense is tremendous. Aaron Donald is probably one of the most dominant non-QBs I think I've ever seen. I mean, this dude is amazing. I think Garrett's I don't know if he's going to catch up for Depoy. And honestly, I would give it to Donald over Watt. That's just me.
I would give it to Watt. I think it's going to go to Donald, though.
Really?
I can see that.
I think Watt has the popular edge right now.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I think Donald.
I think Watt deserves it.
But yeah, no, like I said, again, Ravens are not losing to the Jags and the Rams are not losing to the Jets. Yeah.
I mean, what I tell you about Jalen Hurts, though.
Hey, good job.
Nice.
You buying the stock? You buying the stock? Do you put?
You know what? I think right now, putting like a small investment in and then seeing how it goes throughout the season, and as we go into the off season, might move some more of my funds into the Jalen Hurts stock company. That being said, I don't think that he beats Arizona this week because Look, Arizona kind of had that.
Who has a lot more to play for, I guess, right?
Yeah, but also, I mean, Arizona had that Hail Murray hangover, like I talked about in the last episode, and I said I thought that the Giants game would be the game they get over that, and I think now that they're over that, they look more like the team that they were, at the beginning of the year and the middle of the year. So I think that they've gotten past that, and they've got to win the games they're supposed to win to make it to the playoffs. And I think that now they're over that little hangover. I think they get there, but look, I'm buying in on Jalen Hurts right now.
Yeah, the Eagles won, but I'm not gonna run back and just take back all the mean things I said about the Eagles this season. It's great they got the upset.
Philadelphia tire fires.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna change my tune about the caliber of team they are. It was impressive though. Kyler Murray, despite his occasional off games, he's been a force this season. And then again, having D-Hop to throw to certainly helps. But I would say the Eagles are still a team worth taking seriously, especially with Hurts. But I think the Cardinals just have enough firepower on both sides of the ball to get the job done. So I'm going to take Arizona.
This team just, I don't get it. Doug Peterson's 11-2 without Carson Wentz. I don't know. I don't know what, I'm sorry. I've tried not to make this about him, but I don't know where he goes from here. Jalen Hurts gave this team a spark. That's how I kind of looked at it. Obviously, I did a video on him. He looked good in the film that I saw. And he gave this team a dynamic. He plays like Kyler Murray, I think. He plays a little bit like him. I've done analysis of both of them. I saw a little bit of similarities. And Kyler Murray, I think another thing, Jack, it's not even the hangover. I think it's just Kyler's healthy now.
Yeah.
You saw it. Mm-hmm. Like he was running more.
He was able to actually run.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He didn't have more than 10 rushes in the last, I think, 3 games, was it, when they lost 3 in a row? So what are they now, 7-6? I think they're going to lock up that 7th seed, and I think it starts with a win here at home against Philadelphia. I just don't – I think they caught the Saints off guard. And I don't know what the Saints were doing. I mean, why you gave him that much space. I mean, granted there's not much film on him, but what he is. He's a running quarterback, and the fact that they let him, have 2 20-plus yard runs to end the half. I mean, it was just like – I was very confused with what Dennis Allen was calling. So, kudos to the Eagles for getting a really cool win out, but I just don't think they carry it over, and I think Arizona wins this.
We get into – me and Anish did a video at the beginning of the year what some of the biggest games of the year were and some of the most exciting games for the season. Yeah. This was, I believe, my number 1 game for the entire year, or maybe number 2. Kansas City versus New Orleans. I think we agreed on it too, I think we had Kansas City, Baltimore, Kansas City, New Orleans.
Yeah.
But – as of right now, without Drew Brees playing and with New Orleans coming off a loss to Philadelphia, and even with a bad game from Patrick Mahomes, they still play very well. He still plays well in a bad game, and they win. And so, I think Kansas City wins this one. I think the fact that the Miami defense was able to hold Patrick Mahomes to one of the worst games of his career, and he was still electric, and they still won by, not a lot, but they still kind of dominated that game in the second half, and towards the end of that game, they pulled away. I just think that's super telling on what Mahomes can do and what I think he will do for the rest of this year, maybe going into the playoffs. I just don't think the Saints win this game.
I'll keep it short. I think the Saints, they're going to give them a run for their money. I think it's going to be close until the very end. With that said, though, I think the Chiefs are going to win, and, they're still going to be the favorites to repeat. So I'm going to take Chiefs here.
Saints haven't scored over 24 in, I think, the last 3 weeks. They haven't really, I think Drew Brees, we take advantage of what he's been doing for this team. I think he keeps this offense consistent. And that being said, this hasn't failed me. It's only failed me once the entire year. My homeboy is going to win this game. And I want to say one thing. My homeboy is electric. I mean, you all know what he is. MVP front row. I think he's going to win it. Barring, if Aaron Rodgers can do something amazing. But I think my homeboy is going to win it. He's the best quarterback. Again, like I said, in real time, I think I've seen. I want to say one thing, though. I want to start this. Tyreek Hill over DeAndre Hopkins. I think I might take him, dude. Tyreek Hill is something else. I mean, this dude is incredible. I mean, consistently in and out. I mean, and it's not even just through he makes contested catches. His hands are really good too. And his speed, I mean, it's insane. Like, he takes an end around, right? And 32 yards into the end zone. I mean, I want to start that. I want to start this Tyreek Hill is, in that top 3 conversation. And I right now would take him over DeAndre Hopkins.
I think I have him at 2.
Yeah. Cool.
I know what you're getting.
You have, I think Adams at 1 because that's
I have Adams at 1, and I think I honestly might even put Stephon Diggs at 3. I think it's totally really funny. I think it's really funny how we came into this year saying the by far, no doubt top 3 tier 1 receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
It was undebatable. You had to have those 3. And now you can seriously consider making a list where those 3 aren't even, none of them are in the
The
top
whole
3.
top 10, man. It's hard to rank. I think
It's
hands.
impossible.
That's the hardest list.
That's hard, man.
Even top 20, like
yeah. There are too many good receivers in this league, man. I mean,
at some point when we get out of the season, we'll make a receiver ranking video, and I guarantee you it will be the toughest and most divisive video we've made.
I want to, I mean, let us know what you guys think if you guys want to see that. But yeah, again, I want to start this Tyreek Hill is in that top 2 conversation. This dude
and I think with Tyreek, I think he's definitely the most dangerous receiver in football. I think hands down.
He might be the most dangerous player in football, aside from quarterbacks, since they're dangerous.
Most dangerous offensive non-QB. How about that?
Yeah, I really think so. And this team has Travis Kelce.
I want to apologize.
I'll apologize.
Or not even apologize. I never hated the guy, but I just thought he was number 2 coming into the year. Even if Kittle was healthy, I think Kelce's the best. I mean, like, this is unheard of. I think he should be in the offense player of the year conversation. This is unheard of what he's doing. I mean, I've never seen this type of consistency with a tight end. I mean, leading the league by 80 yards too.
He's going to shatter Kittle's
record. On another level. Oh my God, crazy.
Yeah, no, awesome. I would agree with that one actually. It's something I've been saying for about a year now. And Anish, we'll stick with you here as move to our penultimate game of the week. You haven't been able to talk about the Browns game against the Ravens on a podcast segment. They play the Giants. I think we know your prediction for that one, so you can give us that as well as air out, everything that came from one of the most, I think, exciting games in the NFL season in a long time. Killed me. I had to miss it.
I really thought about making a video for it, but I don't want to talk about the Browns because I didn't want to jinx anything. I mean, they had won 4 straight. I just didn't want to talk about it. And I just want to let you guys know, like, I get so hyped for these games. Like, I'm jumping up and down. I'm going crazy after anything. I mean, if Chubb gets a 10-yard run, I'm starting doing the first down, markers and everything. But that was probably the most roller coaster emotional game I've ever watched in my entire life. I mean, down 14, and we come back, go for 2, tip pass, DPJ catches. I mean, like, there was everything in this game. This game felt a lot more than 3.5. Or actually, it was 3 hours, 45 minutes. It took some extra time. And this game felt like an eternity. It was the longest game I had ever watched. Like I told people this, I had never seen meaningful football in December as a Browns fan. I've been a Browns fan for very long, and I just haven't seen this. This wasn't a typical Browns loss, though. This isn't, your average Browns loss where something disappointing happened. Yeah, Cody Parkey messed up in prime time. He always messes up in prime time. I just want to say to all the Browns fans out there, like, I don't know if we should fire him because he was good up until that point. So, and I also hate primetime games because, like I said, I think players play different. And I think my muscles get tighter. It just with brighter lights, it's different. And I hate playing on primetime because you get exposed, like I've been saying, right? So, and I don't want to talk about it that much because it was hard, dude. It was hard to take that loss in. That being said, Kevin Stefanski, I think, should be the coach of the year favorite. And I don't want to talk about it much because I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm going to knock on wood before I say anything. Baker Mayfield. I have been, again, like I said, so up and down on him. I know these two have been a little bit more down than I've been, but I think he deserves his 5th-year option. He has shown me something. This dude, ever since Odell was out, has been playing like a top 6 quarterback according to PFF. 13 touchdowns, 2 picks. And yeah, the interception to Tyus Bowser was a bit iffy, but the read was okay. I mean, Bowser made a good play on the ball. And, down 14 in the 4th quarter, he was balling. Like, he was doing it. 3 straight touchdown drives. I mean, he made the plays and the throws that he was making. I finally had confidence in my guy throwing the football. I'm telling you, from weeks 1 to, I'd say, 10, I didn't want the ball in Baker's hands. I would get scared every time on 3rd and 8 we would have to throw. I would get scared, terrified. But that game, I wanted it in his hands. I wanted him to throw. And when he ran it in, sliding in, throwing the ball at the stadium, the seats, I was hyped. Like, all I'm gonna say, I'm sorry for ranting, guys, but this game was. it was definitely the best game I've ever watched. And even though we lost, it's not a typical loss for this Browns team. And it was great preparation for playoffs. If they make it, it was great preparation because it was in primetime lights. They needed something like this because they don't have an offensive starter over 30. So they needed some experience like this, and this is what they needed. That being said, going with the Giants, trying to rush it. Daniel Jones is injured. Again, I don't want to talk about the Giants too much, but, I think my take that they will win the NFC East and possibly win a playoff game has gone down south. But, Daniel Jones is not 100%. I don't think he's going to play, and I'm hoping the Browns can bounce back here. Another primetime game. We need this. We need this one because if we don't win it, again, 4 teams fighting for 3 playoff spots, we could be the odd man out. So, I think the Ravens will get it. Like I said, they're literally a guarantee. Like 100% they're going to win their next 3 games. The Colts got a decent schedule. I think they've got Pittsburgh, but, and then the Dolphins is a little bit iffy. But, yeah, I think we win this game. Sorry for anything, guys, but, this was just – I haven't had meaningful December football, okay? And, the Dog Pound deserves this, man. Like, they do. And I'm hoping they beat the Giants here.
Yeah, even after that loss, oh my God, I think that's definitely the best Monday Night Football game I've seen since Chiefs-Rams.
I think it might have been even better. I think it might have been.
No,
because I think Mahomes had 5
Chiefs
turnovers. It was just a sloppy game. That one though was pure offense. It was just pure greatness. I mean, Lamar had the wheelchair thing and just out of out of nowhere, right? Like I don't know. Yeah, that's just me. And it felt more than 4 hours. It felt like I was running around my family room, just like, God, man. Oh, Cody Parkin. Just go ahead.
I think even with that loss to the Ravens, I think the Browns are still one of the most, one of the most intriguing teams in the conference. They've just looked like a different squad under Kevin Stefanski, and Baker Mayfield, man, he's just overcoming his sophomore slump. He's putting up impressive numbers. And really, it's just now can Cleveland do what needs to be done and take down this Giants team. It's a quality team, but, they're ultimately beatable, and, that'll make them inch closer to securing that playoff berth, as Anish was alluding to. And I think it seems likely, especially given the way the Giants played last week, because at least the Browns look like a contender in their loss to Baltimore. The Giants looked flat out awful. So what's really going to be the difference for the Browns is their offense. Can Mayfield avoid making mistakes? Will the run game get going? Can Cleveland's front 5 step up? It's so many questions, and
we get D Ward back too. That's big.
But I just don't have confidence in the Giants in this game, so I'm gonna go with the Browns.
Yeah, not sure much more can be said. I've got Cleveland too. I think you guys really summed everything up. So I got Cleveland. And moving into our final game of the week.
Wait, I just want to say one more thing though. Do you think this team could beat the Chiefs? Like, where would you rank them on teams that could beat the Chiefs? I think they're the second best team that could have a chance. I think they have the second best.
The Rams
chance.
are 1?
No, no. I'm saying in the AFC. I think the Bills are 1. I'd say we are 2. Titans, you could argue. Us and Titans.
I don't think there's 1 in the AFC. Okay. I don't. So I'm not going to rank it because I don't think there is.
I think,
but we move into our final game of the week. Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. It's not a very sexy one to end off the week. Pittsburgh's going to beat Cincinnati. Pittsburgh, though, they don't look like the team that people thought might go 16-0, and I think that's in part due to Big Ben. I feel like, Anish, would you agree that over these last 2 weeks, this Pittsburgh team has looked like the team that we saw going into this year?
Yeah.
That's why I think that partially, we did have the Steelers going 8-8, but I feel like partially our takes were right because we said that we're not really sure what Big Ben was going to look like. And the Big Ben we predicted, I feel like, is kind of like the Big Ben that we've gotten these last couple of weeks. And it hasn't been.
But, these receivers can't catch to save their lives. They can't.
Well,
run
mostly
the
Deontay Johnson.
The offense is just anemic.
And Eric Ebron too. But, like the Steelers team that can't run the football, really?
I know it's just kind of weird.
It's nuts.
I don't know. And also their schedule has been extremely light. And just like this, they lose to 2 really good teams, and now they get to. This is.
I don't think this is. I really don't think this is a Super Bowl team. I think you can kind of say that with confidence right now. But I still think they win this game against Cincinnati. They're definitely making the playoffs. They can still win some playoff games.
They clinch.
This team looks like the team that I saw going into the year. That's why I predicted them going 8-8. This is they've just looked like an 8-8 team over the last couple of weeks. And I think it's difficult for people to swallow. And it's tough because that's not what we've seen for the majority of the year.
Start to leave a little bit.
But I think they win this week against Cincinnati.
Yeah, the offense is just anemic, man. And the defense is really just kind of masking everything up. It's just, you've lost your last 2 games. You need a bounce back win in the worst of ways. And here come the Cincinnati Bengals. And,
This
seeing as
lucky
the Bengals,
teams, these Ravens and these Steelers, it's not fair.
and, seeing
Acting
as
like
the
you
Bengals,
guys don't play the Giants.
They're better than
They're
what
better
they
than
have
the
They're
to
better,
Bengals,
but not
man.
great.
But, seeing as
know.
the Bengals are at a disadvantage, it only makes sense to pick the Steelers here. Their defense, they're just going to maul them. And the Bengals have, I think, the 24th ranked defense, and I just they don't have the talent to keep the Pittsburgh offense in check. So I think Big Ben bounces back here, and Steelers get back on track.
I'm literally not gonna. All I'm gonna say is Colin Cowherd said the Steelers were similar to the 2019 Patriots last year. I agree with it. I think they go one and done in the playoffs. Steelers are gonna win this game. This might again Ravens Jaguars take about how certain I am. I'm pretty damn close to that with the Steelers Bengals. I mean this is like there's no way. And you know what? If it doesn't happen, I'd be
Clip
happy.
it again.
It's not gonna. Steelers are gonna win this game.
It's a good way to end the episode. Like we said, actually, we forgot to mention this at the beginning of the episode. Go down to our Instagram. It'll be in our description. You guys can vote on every single game of the week. And you're in this competition with us too. We keep records for each week and in the whole season. You guys are in second place right now. If you manage to come back and win, you guys get a giveaway. So go down to our Instagram in the description, follow and vote on all the games this week. Also, while you're down there, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our channel if you enjoyed the content. It really helps us grow, and we'd really appreciate it. It's free, so why not? But look, thank you guys so much for watching this video. That's been our Week 15 picks. We'll be back to you guys next week for Week 16, only a couple more. And then we get into playoff picks, which are, a whole different beast. But thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time.